Madam Chair, Jason Gordon has just arrived. He is the lawyer that I proffer to you, not as basically an expert in the RLUIPA area, not for any purposes other than to kind of educate all of us about what the federal law requires.
No problem. Thank you.
Good morning. I appreciate your patience in my driving down here. I thought I'd be going later this afternoon, so I appreciate your waiting. As Lucia indicated...
name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Jason Gordon. The address is 200 East Los Ellis Boulevard, Suite 1700 in Fort Lauderdale. I am one of the attorneys who represented the Hollywood Community Synagogue and currently represents Chabad of Nova in its case against Cooper City. So my interest here today, and I'd like to make very clear up front, is not here threatening the city with a lawsuit by any means. I would just like to give some information to the city to consider from what we've seen as to issues of our RLUIPA and First Amendment with regards to this proposed use. My understanding, at least, is one of the main concerns here with the use is parking, issues of ingress and egress to the property, and those are valid concerns. Those are concerns that have to be addressed and dealt with. And from the perspective of neighbors, those concerns have to be addressed as well. Where my interest lies as far as our RLUIPA is whether that is sufficient justification for denying a use. And essentially, as a basic summary, what our RLUIPA provides is not that religious assembly is treated on greater terms or is at a higher level than other uses. It has to be treated equally. That's what our RLUIPA provides. Religious assembly has to be treated on terms that are not unequal with non-religious assembly. That's what it provides. Government cannot propose or impose a substantial burden on religious assembly. And there's various definitions of that. But at the end of the day, what is the most important concern from an RLUIPA perspective is the standard by which whatever interest that this city is going to apply to this use is going to be judged, which is it compelling? Is it of the highest order? And I can tell you based on our experience, issues of parking, issues of ingress and egress, traffic safety, anything of that sort, according to the courts of our federal system, do not view that as compelling. What you need to do in considering this use, and I urge you to do, and learn from hopefully the mistakes of Hollywood, is the next part of that test, which is use the least restrictive means possible. Saying that this use cannot be there in any form whatsoever is not going to comply with that test. There are ways to address issues of parking. There are ways to address whatever the concerns are. And I would urge you to do whatever you can to find a way to address those concerns short of an outright denial of this use. My understanding is, and that might be the map that was presented, but there are other uses within about a mile of this proposed use. There are other schools, there are other religious assemblies. I think I heard a Chabad got approved within the last week to be there. When you have these other similar uses, you have to treat this one on the same terms, and those are things that have to be considered. Why is it one would be allowed and another one would not? And those are things that you do need to consider. There are also obviously First Amendment concerns here with an entity that is entitled to that type of protection and the criteria or terms that this commission would use to determine whether they can be there or not. But at the end of the day, an outright denial, simply based on parking or any of these other issues, may pose some concerns with regards to our RLUIPA and may pose some First Amendment concerns. So I would urge you to find any way possible, work with the neighbors, work with anyone you can here to try and make it work. I assure you, I do not want to sue your city. It's the last thing I want to do. We tried to work with Cooper City before that lawsuit occurred. We met with city officials. We explained the issues. We asked them to consider changing their code. They chose not to. We were left no choice. I would ask you to do what you can to not be in that position. If you do have any questions, be happy to take them.
Thank you. So we've gotten all the comments from the public. I'd like to bring it back to the Commission. Commissioner Sarnoff?
Yeah, to my fellow commissioners, RLUIPA is the Religious Land Use and Institutional Persons Act of 2000. It's found at 42 U.S.C. Section 2000 CC et sec. What that means essentially is that it's there to protect individuals, houses of worship, and other religious institutions from discrimination in zoning and law and land marking laws. Obviously, Congress found this as an act that was necessary to keep the very core of our religious freedom intact, to allow religious assemblies and assemblies that cannot function without a physical space adequate to their needs and consistent with their theological requirements. Essentially, what we have to do is find a set of circumstances and treat this institution, this religious institution, as we would any other religious institution. I believe under our code, under a special exception, we must find a way to allow them to exist essentially, we can only deny the appeal unless we can find no way for them to exist. So if we can set a set of circumstances under which they can exist, then I think we will have subscribed to RLUIPA, and I think we will have met the City of Miami Charter as well. So what I propose is a condition that there be no outside parking, no parking outside of the 9 spaces, that they monitor this with an outside monitor once they reach 9 people in their facility. I was going to say on the date that they have the worship, but you know what? When you have 9 people in your facility, it is your job to have an outside monitor. So once you get to 9, you should monitor it. I was going to make a recommendation that Lucia Doughtery attend 4 of these sessions, as I think it might do her good. Because I know she's conflicted. No, not conflicted, but angry. So I thought that anger management may work a little bit there for you. But I think those are the criteria that we should set. I think the parking monitor is a fair issue. I'd like to bring this back to us in 1 year, because I'd like to know how this is working out. If you don't have a monitor out there and you are found to have 9 or 10 or 12 people in there, I will consider that to be a violation of the special exception. Reggie, I remember walking when I was campaigning the first time, and I remember meeting a man that had to be 65 pounds lighter than what you are. I always thought it was our meeting that cured you, but now I find out it was Master Z. And I want to just acknowledge Reggie, and I've known him for quite a while. So with that criteria, I'll make a motion to grant the appeal subject to those conditions.
We have a motion.
I'll second the motion as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
This item passes. Okay. Thank you very much. I think we are actually finished.
Yes,
Finished.
We only have our blue page items left. Is Commissioner Regalado already gone for the day? He'll be back. So I'm assuming, let's say 2:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, we'll return back for lunch.
We're coming back for blue pages?
Yeah, no? Well,
I'm sorry, Chair. Can I get clarification? I didn't hear exactly what you were saying.
well, hopefully the chair will come out in a second, but
We're coming back for blue pages?
yes,
The chairman's here, isn't he?
if the chairman's somewhere in the building, that would be awesome for him to come. I don't have a problem with us taking up the blue pages at the next meeting, but
There's only one district commissioner,
I
4
know.
has blue pages.
I
So-
believe the only commissioner that has blue pages is Commissioner Regalado, right?
Right.
So would you like I'm going to ask the board, would you rather just bring these items back at the next city commission meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so I have a motion to bring these 3 items back by Commissioner Sarnoff for the next meeting. Are you okay with that, Commissioner
Wait.
Gonzalez?
Commissioner Regalado has a resolution here, which is D42, which I think is the only one that actually might be
I'll move it.
important.
You move
Huh?
I'll move his D42.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, this item passes, so we will see you at the next city commission meeting. This meeting is officially,
Wait.
okay, all right, here's Sanchez.